Hello, everyone. Happy Friday. Welcome to CyVerse's Fall Webinar Series. I'm Tina Lee, CyVerse's User Engagement Officer. We are pleased today to host our webinar on Getting Started with CyVerse, presented by my colleague, Michele Cosi. First, let's quickly take care of some light housekeeping, and then we'll turn the webinar over to Michele. Today's webinar is about 30 minutes long with time for questions at the end. Please open your Zoom chat window, type your questions there for Michele, and he'll address those after his presentation. As always, we record our webinars, and I'll post this video recording to our website and to CyVerse's YouTube channel at that time. Now I'm pleased to introduce Michele Cosi, today's presenter. Michele is a plant scientist by training and a research data scientist by trade. His work as a plant scientist involves bioinformatics and genomics aspects of the field, having contributed to the assemblies of red rice and African rice genomes. Michele is a strong evangelist for open science, educating researchers in data science best practices, fair and care principles, containerization, and cloud-native technologies. He teaches CyVerse's workshops on foundational open science skills, containers, and does a lot of workshops for the Data Science Institute here at the U of A. Welcome, Michele.
Thank you very much, Tina, for a very candid introduction. Hi, I would like to welcome you all to today's Getting Started with CyVerse. As Tina said, I'm Michele Cosi, and today is my job to show you what CyVerse is and getting started with it. The schedule for today will be, we're going to talk about a little bit of CyVerse's past and how we got here today. And we're going to do a little bit of a tour on how to move data in CyVerse, how to start an application, and hopefully this is something that's going to be helping you in your pursuit of science. So without further ado, let's talk about CyVerse. First things first, if you do not have a CyVerse account, I will suggest you create one, and you can do so by going to user.cyverse.org. We're going to walk through the steps on account creation just in a second, but first, a little bit of CyVerse's history. All right, and also, what is CyVerse? CyVerse's vision and mission. Its vision is to transform science through data-driven discovery, and its mission are to design, deploy, and expand a national cyber infrastructure for research and to train scientists in its use. These are its vision and mission, but what does CyVerse feel like? Well, the desire of CyVerse is to make cloud feel like your laptop. And this is a laptop with thousands of cores, lots and lots of RAM, petabytes of storage, and all your techie friends in the same room. CyVerse, if you haven't grasped it yet, uses cloud technology to really leverage all of its power and give it to you that you can access from your laptop. CyVerse was born in 2008 as the iPlant Collaborative. Back in those days, when plant scientists figured out that the data in the plant genetics and phenomics was getting out of hand, and their laptops wasn't as strong as they hoped in order to do science, a few folks came around and said, hey, what if we use this thing called cloud to really harness the power and give plant scientists the possibility of doing the science that they deserve. And that's how iPlant was created. iPlant renewed its funding in 2013, and because of attention that they have been getting from the astronomy departments, from chemistry departments, iPlant really had to change its name to fit a larger audience, and iPlant became CyVerse in 2016. Now in 2024, we have a number of federated global communities ranging from the UK, Austria, Australia, and Canada. We have trained roughly 40,000 scientists, hosting 11 petabytes of data. helped more than 1,600 publications and counting more than 125,000 users. CyVerse is today truly a workbench for people working with data through the web. This wouldn't be possible without the collaborators in Access, Jetstream, and even our in-house orchestration software, Cacao. I'm not going to truly touch base on this, but I really wanted to show who our collaborators are and how we can do what we do, and we wouldn't be here without them. I'm going to be touching base on this actually much later on in the series. And again, this is a series where we start with getting started with CyVerse, and as we progress, we teach you more of the secrets that you can implement through CyVerse in order to really help you with the research that you are doing. So, shifting gears a second, I'm going to show you how to get around CyVerse. One of the tidbits that I need to point out is that CyVerse does have a number of different URLs that you have to get used to. And as you can see, I have 4 free tabs open. So the first URL that you need to know is one that I have mentioned prior, and that is user.cyverse.org. This is where you sign up, log in, and truly get started with CyVerse. As I already do have a CyVerse account, I'm just going to go ahead over here and click login. I'm going to type in my CyVerse username and password and press enter. And this gets me to the CyVerse portal. The CyVerse portal is where you can launch some of the CyVerse services. And today I would like to point out first the discovery environment, which is where you do the science, and the data commons, which is a place where you can access public data, such as data that we collected or we have helped collect for the Event Horizon research, and also a various number of DOIs, digital object identifier data. And if you do not know what DOIs are, well, these are little serialized numbers which ideally should be here forever until the internet gets extinct. For example, if you're looking for a specific scientific paper or some scientific data, there's always a little bit of numbers that come with it after a DOI, colon, and a series of numbers and slashes. You click on it, and it's going to bring you to, for example, Nature or PLOS or CyVerse. We do host a number of data and papers related to scientific discovery. Another thing that you can do in the portal is request for certain services. You can request one of these community folders that I just was talking about. You can request resources for classes and workshops. And you can also request to collaborate with us. We are more than happy to help you with your research. If there are any workshops that are open, you can click on the workshops tab and enroll in any of the workshops that are open. None of them right now are open. As you can see, I had created a class, quote unquote, workshop where a number of students have enrolled for the CSC 396 at the U of A. I'm going to go back to services now. And launch the discovery environment. And I can do so by going over here in the center of the screen on the discovery environment card and click launch. I'm going to close the other tab over here, make this slightly larger so perhaps you can all see it. And welcome to the discovery environment. And the discovery environment is where the science starts. I'm going to click over here to log in, over here being the top right. And because I have already logged in from the user portal, this will automatically also log me in the discovery environment. First and foremost, this is user.cyverse.org, so where the user portal is, and the discovery environment is at de.cyverse.org. Please ignore this error over here. I'm going to reload my screen over here, and I'm going to talk about what you are seeing on the screen. This is the discovery environment's home. And here at home, you can get some information on how much you have used CyVerse. We do have a subscription system. And I would like to point out that if you are a University of Arizona employee, student, faculty member, you are going to directly get a pro level of subscription. So what does that entail? That entails 3 terabytes of storage and a lot more compute than the average CyVerse user. What am I seeing on screen right now? Well, I'm seeing that I can take a tour if I need to know what each of the little buttons here on the left are. I'm also seeing the data storage card here, and data storage is pretty self-explanatory. It tells me how much data I am hosting on CyVerse. I have roughly 3.4 terabytes out of my 5 terabytes used. Wanted to point out, terabyte is a lot of data. The genome of rice is roughly 2.9 gigabytes big, so that's a lot of genomes that you can fit in CyVerse. Over here, I have used a lot of CPU consumption. These are essentially your allocation hours over time. And also the total amount of analysis that I have run through CyVerse, how many have completed, how many have failed, how many I've canceled. And I believe this is all that the home screen shows you, but this is not the end of it. Actually, this is quite the start. Here on the left, there's a number of icons that, well, you can expand. We call it a burger menu, but it is just an expandable menu. And some highlights here. Home, to just go back to home. Data is the data tab where you can see all of your data. Apps, where you can launch applications for you to do your science. Analysis, where when you do launch your apps, and maybe you launch more than once, analysis and analysis tab will help you keep track of how many applications have launched, how long they've been running. You can also launch a small little Cloud Shell. And Cloud Shells, if you do know command line, it's extremely powerful, and it's probably the best tool to move things around in CyVerse. Then there is Teams, which is a feature which allows you to group people together. If you are a PI and let's say that you have a large number of students, and some of your students should have access to one type of data, and other students should have access to other types of data, you can go ahead and create Michele Cosi's lab team A and Michele Cosi's lab team B. This will allow you to share certain data with some people and some other data with other people. And hopefully this is going to be everything that we covered today. I do have admin, so please, admin privileges, so please do ignore what you see down below here. Oh, another couple of things that I would like to point out is that we do have a notification bell. So if you are running an analysis and the analysis is launched, the notification bell will say, hey, the analysis was launched. And when it finishes, the notification bell says it is finished. I'm going to go to the data tab now. And here, it's very much like your computer. It's very much like Google Drive, for example, where you can get access to a bunch of data that you have uploaded yourself. Note, this is data that is just visible to you. No one else can see this data. We can see this data. And it is up to you who can see this data. You can go over here on this little box on the left, and when you click it, You can access data that's been shared with you from other users, or see the community data. And this is very similar to the data that has been published for everybody on the internet. And you can go ahead and go here and use this data. We're going to stick to our own folder for now, as there's a couple of things to point out. First of all, I'm going to use this test folder right here. I can highlight it. And when I do highlight it, I can, for example, if I go here on the right, I can ask for details on this folder. And this is going to tell you when it was last modified, when it was first uploaded. I can add metadata to your folder. And metadata is data about data, meaning that if I do want to search for this folder, the metadata that is attached to this folder would make it quicker for me to find this folder. I can share this data with some of my collaborators. I can rename it. I can move it onto some other folder, and I can even create DE paths. What this does is, let's do this, for example. I'm going to copy the DE link, open up a new tab, and I'm just going to paste it. I'm going to press enter. And what this does is that it is going to directly send me within this folder itself. This is a great way of sharing this data with some of your collaborators without having to tell them, yeah, no, click here and then go inside this folder. People tend to get lost. Sharing links sometimes is the fastest way to get people their data. Now I can select more. And the more I select over here, I can do more actions. I can share more folders at the same time, and I can move them to trash. I can move them around. So you're not stuck with just selecting one piece of data. You can select more. One of the hardest steps, personally speaking, is getting data onto CyVerse. And there is a number of ways of getting about that. Over here on the right, there is your standard upload button. And an upload button does exactly that. Uploads data through your browser onto CyVerse. The problem of that is that this can get quite slow because of your browser's ability to move data around. So I want to go to yet another URL, which is learning.cyverse.org, where we talk about everything related to CyVerse, from how to run analysis, to develop your own tools, to moving your data. Over here on the left, I have manage your data. And I know that I want to learn about moving data. Excuse me a second. We talked about moving data using the web, but the fastest way to move your data are through a program called CyberDuck, which, if you do click here at the bottom using the CyberDuck desktop application, using CyberDuck, this will allow you to view data. Let me see if there is a screenshot of this right here. I can go direct to the CyberDuck website and show you. But this will allow you to view your data directly from your computer and move them around with your mouse as if it were these on your computer. I'm back at the learning website. If you are, however, comfortable with command line, the strongest suggestion that I can make you is to use Go commands. And Go commands is an in-house tool that we have developed, and is the fastest way, first of all, to move data around. And it is really quickly learnable. So depending on your skill level, if you have absolutely no skill in command line, use CyberDuck to move data around. If you're comfortable with some tinkering on the command line, go to Go commands. Where to learn about this? Go to learning.cyverse.org, go to manage your data, and you are going to learn about all of the ways to move data around. I'm going to go back to the discovery environment, where now that assumingly we have moved data onto CyVerse, we can do something with it. So I'm going to move on to the next tab, which is apps. In this page, we have a number of applications that we maintain. And these applications range from the Cloud Shell to a set amount of Jupyter Labs. And Jupyter Labs come in different flavors. There is some that are more for data science, more some others which are for geospatial analysis, and some which we allow the use of PyTorch. We also have a number of R Studios, a very popular IDE for our users and bioinformaticians. We also have an Ubuntu desktop and VS Code. We have literally so many tools that you can use. And for this specific example, I'm going to be launching a Jupyter Lab Data Science. For this, I'm going to go to Jupyter Lab Data Science and click on the app itself. And this is going to get me to the launch screen, where I can choose the version that I prefer launching. For this specific case, I'm going to launch the 4.2.0 version. And I can give my analysis a name. And the better the description, the better you're going to be able to remember what this is for. So I'm going to rename it Getting Started and today's date. So 24/06/09/06. The output folder, you can always change it. But because this is an interactive analysis, this is not something that you need to worry about. I'm going to click next. And here is something very important. You can select how many resources you require for your analysis. As you can see, you can set the maximum, and the maximum is set 128 cores. Now, let's scale that down a bit. Let's scale that down to 8. We do not need 128 cores, and I always like to make my minimum CPU cores match my maximum CPU cores. And if anything, this is one of those little secrets that I was telling you, because now I know that I'm going to get 8 CPU cores. And for memory, I'm just gonna go ask for 4. This is just a demo, and we can also set a number of disk space, reserve a number of disk space for our analysis. But for now, let's just leave it blank. I'm going to click next, and this is going to, this is the parameters review, where right before you launch, you get to review all of your parameters, such as also resource requirements. So we're launching a Jupyter Lab with 8 CPUs and 4 gigabytes of memory. I'm going to click Launch Analysis. And it's going to send me, if you saw here on the left, from apps to analysis. If you look here at the bottom, I do get a notification saying, hey, your analysis has been submitted. What does this mean? All right, I'm going to try not to rush it, but if I go to analysis, you see this little loading bar over here? Well, this is your loading bar, which tells you, have the resources been allocated? Has the application been loaded? And is this going to launch? And this is usually where the 100% loading happens. I'm going to reload very quickly. And here we go. Jupyter Lab is launching. And if you are familiar with Jupyter Lab, that's fantastic. Here I can access a terminal, and the terminal is very similar to the terminal that we have outside in the DE, outside of this application, I mean. We can get access to the Python free kernel. We can get access to an RStudio application. So this is very much Jupyter, the way that you have it on your computer, just with the ability to request for a lot more resources than your everyday commercial computers. One of the things that I do want to point out is that here on the left, I have access to two folders, which are data and home. I'm going to click on home now because I want to show you that home is where you have all of your data. So not only this application has more resources, but it also connects to the data store. And the data store is where you have all of your data, so you can literally drag and drop data from the data store onto this application and go crazy with your science. Okay, since we're not launching an analysis and or demo it, I wanted to show you just that how every application that we have has access to the data store. So once you do get your data in, you're set to go. Go and do your science. I'm gonna go back now to the discovery environment, and I'm going to click on the analysis tab. This is going to open up all of the analysis that I have run over time. And as you can see, we do have this data science Jupyter Lab running for the past 3 minutes. Now, what if I know that I am done with my analysis? What do I do? Well, you turn it off, because if you let it run, CyVerse has a total amount of duration of 48 hours. So if you let something run for 48 hours, likely it will turn off by itself. Now, this is not recommended, because if you're done with an analysis and you're just letting it run, it's just going to consume your CPU. Imagine using a car to get from place A to place B and not turning off your car. It's just going to sit there and consume your fuel. So once you're done with your analysis, over here, you can click on to terminate it. But what if after 2 days, you still want that analysis running? Before I terminate it, I can go over here and click the extend time limit button. I'm gonna click on that and show you what happens. Extend time limit. These analyses can be terminated in a couple of days. Do you wish to extend time limit? And what this does is that it adds 24 hours to the total running time of this application. And just a reminder that this may be something that you have to do from time to time in order for your analysis to keep running. So I'm not going to extend it. I'm going to cancel it. And right before we click terminate, I also want to show you they can go to analysis. And if you click on this, this is going to bring us to where we just were. So if you do close your tab by mistake, don't panic. Click on that. Click on that go to analysis button, and it's going to take you right where you left off. So now we're ready to turn off our analysis, and we can click on the big red X, and it's going to say, terminate analysis. Yes, I'm all right. Please do terminate the analysis. So far, what have we seen? We have seen where to sign up for CyVerse at user.cyvers.org. We have seen how to get to the CyVerse virtual workbench, the discovery environment, and we've seen how you can upload data and how you can launch certain analysis through our curated apps. A couple of other things before we finish here. First is the Cloud Shell, as I mentioned, and a Cloud Shell is just a button, and within just a few seconds, it's going to open a Cloud Shell which you can use in order to view data and move data around. As you can see here, it says that my analysis has been submitted. Since I'm in my analysis tab, it also shows that I have submitted an analysis for a Cloud Shell. And right below analysis, it tells me that an analysis called Cloud Shell is not running. I'm going to click on that, which is this button right below analysis when your analysis is running. And I'm going to make this slightly bigger. Wanted to show you that this is just your Cloud Shell that you can use in order to, I'm going to type in ls, going to show me my data in home folder. I'm going to cd into home and my own folder and type in ls again, where I can see all of my data and I can move my data. I can remove my data. I can also rename my data and do everything that you can do on a through a terminal, but on CyVerse using the Cloud Shell. I'm going to go back to analysis, terminate the Cloud Shell. Excuse me, extend time limit button. I did not click you. Terminate it. And the last but not least, we have Teams. And in Teams, I'm going to wait for it to load a second. I can view all of the teams that have been created and made public. Now, just because they are public, it does not mean that I'm able to join these teams. If anything, it shows me how many teams there are. But let's say that I do want to join the BI 425 team course at University of Oregon for 2019. I want to click on it and want to join. It's not going to allow me. This button right here, it's going to send a notification to whoever created this team and saying, hey, Michele Cosi wants to join the team. Can he? And the person creating the team is going to say yes or no. But how do I create the team myself? Over here on the top right, there is an icon that says Team Plus, and I'm going to click on that. I can give a team name. I'm going to be calling it Getting Started with CyVerse and Ends. The description I'm going to add. This is a team for the Getting Started webinar series. And I'm going to make it public. So I can make it public, excuse me, or private. If it's private, people can't see and join this team. And over here, I can add users that I call friends. So over here, I'm just going to put in Jake Gillen, my collaborator Jeff. I can decide whether I can make him a member or an admin. As an admin, you have the power to reject, add potential team members, and Tina L. And I can make Tina also an admin as well. The most important things about teams after you've added 30 people to the members list is to click save. Because if you do not click save, all of your hard work of single-handedly adding everybody, well, it's going to get lost. The back button does that. It doesn't say, hey, did you save? So please do save before anything. What this does is that it creates a group in the back end of CyVerse. So it's going to think a little bit, and then everybody that's been added to the Getting Started with Friends are going to receive a little notification on the top here on the right that they have been added to the team. Now, if I go back to my data, decide to share this with somebody, I can go here, and as you can see, I've used this already for a demo, and type in the name of the team itself. And Getting Started with CyVerse, and it pops up here, and friends. And what this is going to do is, instead of sharing this folder or file with 30 people one by one, you can just add them to, you can just share it to one single team, and this is going to share with every single one with the permission read, write, or own that you select over here. So I'm going to click done. Don't worry about the sharing failed, because it is actually sharing with the people that you share it with. Now, we have truly, in 30 minutes, rushed through the entirety of getting started with CyVerse. And I wanted to really go over what we did. We learned how to create a CyVerse account, where to create a CyVerse account at user.cyverse.org, where the science starts with CyVerse at discovery-environment.cyverse.org, where to go in case you want to learn more on managing data, on running analysis at learning.cyverse.org. And just wanted to finish here with this slide right here, which is a summary of all of these or other even URLs for you to visit in order to learn, use CyVerse, and find more about the data itself. I'm going to end it here, Tina, and if there are any questions, please feel free to ask.
Thank you, Michele. I can confirm I did get a notification that I've been added to a team, so.
All right.
I don't see any questions for you, so I think you've gotten off easy. Thank you all for attending today's webinar, and please join us next week, same time, for a webinar given by Data Science Institute and CyVerse PI, Nirav Merchant, who will present on how to do data management for your AI/ML or ML/AI projects using CyVerse. As anybody knows, ML/AI projects use a ton of data for training, and managing that data appropriately is a key beginning step. So please join us. Ciao, everybody. See you next week. Thanks, Michele.